Can you slow down a bit here?
Oh, sure. Isn't it 50 here?
This is a constant battle that driving instructors face with their students on a daily basis, and that is speeding in residential areas. What's the speed limit in residential areas in Australia? In Australia, if you don't see any speed limit signs displayed in residential areas, which sometimes are called built-up areas, local streets, and back streets as well, the default speed limit is 50 km per hour. In simple words, the roads where you can see houses, and majority of such roads have no line markings. And by line markings, I mean these white lines in the middle of the road. Also at intersections in such areas, traffic is typically regulated by give way and stop signs rather than traffic lights. So in such roads or areas, the default speed limit if you don't see any speed limit sign is 50. So what does that mean? It means the maximum speed limit that you can have in such areas is 50 km per hour. Does that mean that you have to drive 50 km per hour or else you fail your driving test? No, not at all. When driving in residential areas and elsewhere, you must drive according to the traffic conditions. These conditions may be due to a particular road situation or a traffic condition. Hills. When driving on a hilly road where visibility is limited, in order to avoid potential crashes with cars on the other side of the hill, it's important to slow down. Sharp bends. If you drive too quickly around sharp bends, you risk veering into the middle of the road or onto the opposite side and losing control of your car. So, slow down.
Oh, yeah.
Parked cars. When there are many cars parked on the side of the road, you need to slow down. Why? There might be some children playing around behind these cars and they could suddenly jump into the middle of the road. You want to be prepared to avoid hitting them in case that happens. And that will not be possible if you are driving too fast. So, slow down. Narrow roads. If a road is narrow, you will be driving closer to the curb, meaning the distance between you and the houses is much shorter than on wide roads. If two children suddenly run into the middle of the road while playing, it is important to drive slowly in order to react in time and avoid a disaster. So, slow down. Speed bumps. Speed bumps are these raised sections of roadway that are designed to slow down traffic. Driving too quickly over them can lead to loss of car control and damage to your car. In Australia, many speed bumps signs recommend that you reduce your speed to 20 km per hour. However, this speed is not always safe for some cars. The lower your car is to the ground, the slower you need to drive when going over speed bumps. For example, 20 km an hour is okay for an SUV car like this one, which is relatively high. But it is not suitable for a Toyota Corolla, which sits much lower to the ground. So with a Toyota Corolla, you need to drive much slower when going over speed bumps. In conclusion, regardless of the car you drive, when you come across speed bumps, slow down. Slow points. Slow points are two islands in the middle of the road which narrow and angle the path of traffic. The purpose of them is to make you slow down. So, slow down. Turns. Every single turn needs to be made with a slow speed, whether it's a left or right turn, unless you like to end up in a tree or someone's house. So for every turn, make sure to slow down. Blind corners. At some intersections, due to the presence of buildings and hedges, it can be difficult to see the side road clearly, unless you get very close to the intersection. These are known as blind corners. To avoid accidents with drivers who ignore stop or give way signs, it's wise to slow down. Roads with rough surface. From time to time, as roads become worn out, they are resurfaced. The roads that are being repaired may remain rough for a few days. If you encounter such roads, be sure to slow down. Roads covered with trees. Some roads may be covered with a lot of overgrown trees, making it difficult to see far enough down the road. To ensure you can see what is around the corner or behind the trees, it is important to slow down. For the street sign. And of course, if a road in residential areas has an actual speed limit sign, for example like 40 on this road, you need to drop your speed to a little under 40. And that means slow down. Slow for SAM. SAM stands for Slow Awareness Monitors Program, which was initiated by the Brisbane City Council in November 2013 to change motorist behavior and reduce speeding. These signs provide drivers with either a smiley face or a slow down message depending on their speed. They are usually installed in residential neighborhoods, school zones, and areas with high pedestrian activity, where speeding has been happening or is likely to happen and is dangerous. Also, when confronted with this sign, drivers can visualize a young, innocent child called Sam and be extra cautious. At least that's how I personally feel when I see this sign, and perhaps that's what they intended to. SAM is a reminder for you to check your speed and slow down. Around schools. This sign warns you that there is a school in this area, so watch out for children. If you drive on such a road on days when schools are operating, which is usually Monday to Friday, excluding public holidays, there may be school children around. So when you see this sign, be extra cautious and slow down. Around playgrounds. And this sign is displayed in locations where there is a children's playground nearby. Children who are playing in the playground may jump into the middle of the road, so slow down. Pedestrian crossings. Anytime you see a pedestrian about to enter a pedestrian crossing, you need to stop completely and let them cross the road. Additionally, if you cannot see both sides of the crossing clearly, such as this one here, make sure you slow down. Slow word on the road. Words printed on the surface of the road are as important as the signs on the sides of the road. These words are intended to provide extra emphasis on what you need to do. So do what the word says. Slow down.
Oh yeah.
Reduce speed sign. These red background colored signs are very hard to miss. They are red because they are delivering a serious message. If you see such a sign asking you to reduce speed with capital letters, you can't help but to slow down. Pedestrians, especially kids walking around. Kids are not predictable. A lot of pedestrians these days walk around staring at their phones or having earphones in their ears. They are distracted. So anytime you see them on the road, slow down. Cyclists. The number of cyclists on the road is increasing. Cyclists are very vulnerable. When I used to work as an interpreter, I used to go to hospitals a lot and I witnessed many cyclists being injured on the roads. So when you see them, slow down. Giving way on narrow roads. If you are driving on a narrow road where a car is parked on one side and another car is approaching from the other side, and there is not enough room for two cars to pass next to each other, you can slow down to let the other car pass first. So, slow down. Roadworks. Whenever there are roadworks, there are workers moving around. They may or may not put up roadwork signs, but if you see cones on the road, it means something is happening. And that could be either due to construction or roadworks. So, slow down. Bad weather. If the weather is bad, for example if it's raining, you may not be able to stop your car quickly in case of an emergency. So, slow down. Traffic accidents. If you come across a traffic accident on the road, whether during your driving test or in real life, you will see some people gathering at the scene to see what has happened and to help the people involved. These people may be shocked and may move around on the road. So in order to avoid causing another accident, it's important to slow down. If you've heard that driving too slowly will result in a lower score on the driving test, you've heard correctly. Many students often get marked down for driving too slowly on highways or main roads with traffic lights. But that's a topic for another video. In residential areas, if you drive on a road where none of those traffic situations and conditions exist, and you drive too slowly unnecessarily, that's when you get marked down. For example, on this road. This road is absolutely flat and straight. It's not narrow, there are no pedestrians, cyclists, or cars on the road, and there is no school or playground nearby. By driving too slowly on such a road, you will get a mark down. But having said that, you still don't want to drive 50. In fact, I recommend all my students not to drive over 47 or 48 on the roads with no line markings in residential areas in the best possible situation. We can go a bit faster here.
Oh, okay.
So when you say slow down, how much should I really slow down? Should I drive 30, 40 or 45? Well, there is no specific answer to that. It really depends on the situation and traffic conditions. Remember, if the speed that you are driving at makes the person sitting next to you panic, chances are that you are driving too fast for the situation. By the same token, if the person next to you looks bored or frustrated, or the driver behind you tailgates you and honks their horn, it's a sign that you might be driving too slow. When you go for your driving test, your job is to make the driving examiner sitting next to you feel safe. Speed judgment is something that takes time, repetition, and practice to master. Some students are not very good at judging their speed and driving according to the conditions. If that applies to you, you have two options to improve. 1. Drive with a mature driver sitting next to you and get their feedback in regards to your speed in different traffic situations. 2. Take some driving lessons and your instructor will go through some exercises to fix any issues with your speed. Slow down.
Oh my God!
Can you slow down a bit here?
Oh, sure. Isn't it 50 here? Oh, yeah, mate. No worries. Isn't it?